Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's episode, what we're going to be doing is jumping into the next project. We will revisit the rows later, but in today's project, we're jumping in and creating a boot. Now, with that said, this boot is going to be a keychain, and well, yes, I know another keychain. What the hell? But anyways, that's what we're going with today. And don't worry, I have bigger plans. I do want to do the RC challenge, so that will be coming up. Where we're gonna start from scratch, go all the way through, experiment with new materials. So, let's get creative. Let's cue the intro. All right, folks. All right, let's get into the drawing here. The way I'm going to approach this project, and if you hear that squeaking noise, that's just my chair, and I apologize. There's nothing I can do or am willing to do about anything right now about it. I just don't have the money to replace my chair. It's a 20-year-old chair, and that's life. All right, why would I mean, I know this is crazy. Why am I starting on paper? This is how I'm going to start. I'm starting off with paper. It's actually easier for me to start off on paper and start there, and then move to the computer after I have a clear idea of what I want to do. Now, we're going to be, as the intro says, or the whatever says, it is going to be a keychain that we're creating. It's going to be a boot shape, and we're going to be using the dual extrusion abilities of the printer that I have to produce it. I've decided on two materials. One of which is going to be, one is going to be a wood PLA and the other one is a glow-in-the-dark PLA. What I've done to prepare for that, that'll be another story. What we're doing here is we're starting off the sketch with just a basic outline, basic. We're not looking for the details at this point. I'm going over it with a pencil. I'm trying to use an HB, but I don't think I had one at that point, so I'm using an H2, I think. Or maybe it's just a B. It's either a H or a B. I'm not sure. I don't remember which. Anyways, that's here and there. The idea is that you don't want anything too soft or too hard at this kind of stage, because you'll end up not being able to erase this stuff very easily. This was a good balance, a reasonable balance, so that's something you need to think about when selecting your pencils. If you used a number 2 pencil, it doesn't matter. That's fine. It's your preference. It's what you're comfortable with here at this, especially at this stage. And it wouldn't even matter if I was using a regular plain old notebook. Excuse me. So I'm going in. I'm going to start working out the boot and the shape of the boot, and start working out the scaling, actually, so everything fits right. You don't want a boot that's too tall, it'll look funny, or you don't want a boot that's too short, it'll still, again, look funny. So the goal is to get the right scale for the project you're doing. Because if I was doing a cartoon, I may do a short boot, I may do a long boot. It just depends on the character. And at this stage, I'm not doing that. I am actually creating a keychain. Therein lies, I need a certain proportion, one that when you pick up the keychain, it looks right. It's closer to realistic than not. Alright, so I'm just about done the pencil process. Aside from making some minor adjustments, I'll be moving over to pen shortly, if I have not already. Which I think I have. Yep. So I've moved over to a pen. I'm using a 0.5 tip. Now, you gotta pay attention, especially with pens like this, the pressure that you apply to them. If you apply too much pressure, you will ruin the tip. Too little pressure, it won't ink right. Now, it's not too hard to figure that out with these pens. They're pretty easy to use. Yeah. So yeah, that's What's going on here? Now I'm cleaning it up a little bit, getting rid of those erase marks, getting rid of the pencil marks. And then I'm going to go ahead and scan it in, and then we're going to do some actual designing of the boot and determining what I think I'd like to see on it. So here I am, starting my design work. This is actually determining the design itself. And that's where we're approaching this at this point. I need to clean up some of the lines. The inkjet printer really did not copy this very well, which is kind of unfortunately. It's a little bit on the annoying side, but whatever. It's not critical. It's going to be more important is when we come down to the final design, which I determined that the one with the guitar and some simple text is perfect at. The others not so much. They were too And yeah, that's where that goes. Sorry. Yeah, so working out the date for the Nashville. Oh, did I mention that this keychain is for a trip my wife is planning or planned to attend, and she wanted to give everybody something. So I said, yeah, I can try to make a keychain. Just don't mention it just because there was a chance I could fail and the printer could fail. It's a lot of work working with these printers. They're finicky, they're tricky to do, and they're tricky to calibrate. With that, once you do, they work great. Once you have all those issues taken care of, they're fantastic. I'm pretty much there with mine, but still got some more tweaking to do. And there's a couple things I want to add and change. All kinds of neat little things like that. So that's my first design. I wasn't too happy with it, so moved it to the side. The reason why I'm dubbing over this, the original video was almost 2 hours. I was like, that's too long for you guys. That's pushing it. So I cut it all down to a half hour where I sped all the video up, and I figured that was fair and give you a nice balance. Using my hand as references and stuff like that, and checking my scale and things of that nature. So little tricks that I use to make sure my visuals are correct. And yeah, be glad I didn't pull out the eraser card. I usually do. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to flesh out the design as much as I can. But, right. So let's where we're at on this one. Looking at it, determining that it's alright. Now moving on to what will probably be the last one, where I get the idea of, oh, let's draw a guitar. And it's like, oh wait, I got a better idea. Let's draw so the neck goes above the boot line, so it looks like it has the boot pulls, so you can pull your boot on. And I think that actually is, and that ends up being the design that I'm going to go with because I kind of like it. That'll be fun. I think I'll end up doing like the guitar and what color? And run most of the boot itself in glow in dark material, which would be kind of cool. If they have the keychain out for long enough, it'll glow once they throw it in their pocketbook. which is kind of neat if you think about it. So yeah, this is the end, and design is coming up. The last design, the one I decided to go with on this project. So you're not going to see me do any sculpting today. That will be in the next video though. So that'll be cool. Alright, with that said, this part's just about done, and I'm going to start moving over to the computer. I'm going to get kind of a little bit on the lazy side, and I'm just going to use my phone and take a picture of it, and then bring it into Photoshop, crop it down, and start from there. And once that happens, then we'll go ahead and flesh out the design a little bit better, choose a cleaner font that will work, and things of that nature. And I think that I think that'll make the best solution here. So here I'm in Photoshop. I'm running into a small little problem, which is really frustrating. Ironically, Windows is funny. Gotta love Microsoft. What they did was they turned off the driver for the pen. So I ended up deleting the driver, reinstalling it, didn't work, tried this and tried that, still didn't work. Then I did some research and found out that the drivers get turned off because of the updates. All I have to do is go back in and turn it on. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Or that's what I'll be doing on this. Alright, so now that I got my pen issue figured out, I'm going to start drawing it out. As you can see, I'm testing the pen, making sure I get the right line width and stuff like that, variation, which isn't too hard to get. This is pretty easy stuff. And yeah, ignore those messages. This is just a pain in the ass is what it is. And yeah, give myself a little thing to hide layers and then whatnot. Well, then I'm going to start cleaning up the mood a bit. Running through the way I think it should look. Now what we want to do also is to make sure that something weird. The eraser wasn't working right, so I had to figure that out. I still haven't figured that out. I'll have to go back at some point and see why the eraser didn't function properly. It's fine. Whatever. It's not a big deal. So yeah, we'll dig in and start drawing again in a minute when I say screw it. I think this, in the end, hopefully this keychain will look kind of neat. Definitely decided to go with the guitar. It's a nice design, it's simple, and it's clean, and it'll look kind of cool, if done right. I already know how I want to print it. I'm going to print it vertically, minimize any support material required. There's probably still going to be some somewheres. Yep. There we go. Yeah, because I ended up deleting all my preferences, so everything's in the wrong spot for me. As far as the quick keys goes on the tablet. A little frustrating, but there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry guys, didn't mean to yawn so much. Not that anyone's going to care because nobody's listening. That's cool with me. I'm hoping that I get a couple of people watching on the next video. This one I don't care so much about. And if you are watching, great. Please subscribe. I think I've got a lot to offer, and I think I've got some fun projects coming up that will be fun for everybody. And ultimately, this channel isn't going to be just about 3D printing and creating stuff for the 3D printer. I do want to get into doing actual oil painting at some point, but right now I just don't have the space for it. I am working out of my living room in between, on my time between when I have available with nobody here, without my wife around. Because she'll be watching TV and I can't really record voices while she's watching TV. That's kind of tricky. And because I can't remove that stuff from the background. And if you hear that obnoxious fan noise, I apologize for that. Again, that's just the computer. It's just loves to make a lot of noise. It likes to make sure its presence is known. It's quite irritating, but there's nothing I can do about that. It's a design flaw in the computer itself, and since it's all in one unit, there's no way I can fix it. Ultimately, if my plan goes to the way I want it, I'll have a nice room where I can do my work in peace and quiet, and maybe extend it the time I work on these a little bit longer than what I'm able to do now. So my plan here, I think I said it in the last video, is I'm going to be shooting for one video a week right now and posting on Fridays. So if you guys want to subscribe and hit that little bell, you're not going to get a ton of things from me, so it's not going to be overwhelming. Your phone won't be flooded with notifications by me. Again, like I said, my only goal right now is to do a video once a week. Occasionally, if I can sneak in a second one, I will, but that's probably highly unlikely. Alright. Well, we're watching me scribble out this drawing, and it's just scribbling it out, because I didn't do any guitar research. I got to do that before I actually start sculpting, just to make sure I have the idea correct. It doesn't need to be perfect, obviously, and it's not. It can be distorted a little bit. And then just looking to get this fleshed out. Once this is fleshed out, we'll be digging into using probably just ZBrush Core in this case, and then we'll scale it up in the print software. So my plan is to break that up into two separate things, because the struggle of fighting with the printer versus actually printing are two different things. I've got the printer pretty well situated. I've got it printing pretty well for the most part. It's still not 100%. Alright. Let's talk about upcoming projects that I want to do. I do want to create a maker coin. And again, they'll probably be keychain size, because I think that'll be fun. Everyone who I've seen doing maker coins are just little plastic coins that people are just going to toss aside and do nothing with. But at least if I make it into a keychain, you can use it as a keychain. That's a thought of mine, but I'm not going to approach that right now. There's a project I want to do before that, and that's going to be the RC Challenge, the Open RC Challenge. They're doing a lot of Formula Ones. I've looked at what they've done. There's a bunch of things that bug me about the way they design their models. So I'm going to go in, and we're going to not do their model. I'm not going to go down to Thingiverse and download their model. But what I will do is like download maybe a tire well and stuff like that, so I have reference to scaling. And then I've been looking at these Google cars. Oh my god, they're so race cars. They look so cool. I want to take a base design off of that concept there, turn it into where it's a GPS ran to an actual physical person. So I have a model of a person sitting in there, somewhat. You'll see what I mean. Anyways, so my plan is to go completely from scratch. We're going to start with drawings and stuff like that, like we're doing here, and then we're going to move to the computer using probably Fusion 360 in a combination with ZBrush Core to get what we're looking for. Because I need to make sure I got the scaling right, and I need to make sure I got the details that I want, and not one of those programs will do what I'm looking to do. Yeah, so ultimately, to get the end result that we're looking for, I'll be using sorry, multiple programs for that. Excuse me, hold on a sec. And with that done, then we'll really dig into printing it out. We'll run through the whole process printing that out. Let me know if that's something you wanted me to do, like streaming. I don't know how well that will handle over there. I've not tried streaming with Comcast yet, and they're not the best to work with. So, yeah. We'll see how that goes. When the time comes, I'll determine that. First and foremost, I need to finish this project before I go in and do any other projects. So, in my sketch here, as you can see, I'm drawing out a couple notes down on the foot part, which I think is kind of neat. I may, in the sculpt, increase the size of the guitar and go from there. Well, that seems like a long pause. Oh, that's why. I was not pausing. I was like adjusting things. That's why. All right. So this is just about done now. And I think this is definitely the design that I'm going to be going with. I still need to figure out the font at this point. Now, that's going to be the next challenging part here, is determining the font. I want something simple, but kind of bold at the same time, because I need the strength to be legible because of the way the print. It's an FDM printer. Again, ignore all of those notifications. It's really annoying, but there's nothing I can do about that. That's probably because I was listening to a YouTube music channel at the time those all popped up. Excuse me again. Which is quite annoying, and they kind of get in the way. So, yeah. So right now, you'll see me go into a font program, try to find my font that I want to use. Be frustrated because I haven't updated that in X amount of time, and they have a new version out, so I don't think it's 100% compatible with the current version of Photoshop and Illustrator and all that. If you're any kind of designer or font program, I really like Fusion. It really is nicely designed. When it was Suitcase originally, I hated Suitcase. I couldn't stand it. But what they've done here now is it's smooth, it works well. It's not perfect, but it works really well. And I'm happy with the way it works. And they've added a lot of new features to it. So once I find a font that I think will work, I'll try it out, and it fails to load and stuff like that. So in the end, I just say screw it and work with what I got open. There's ways around dealing with this problem, and I just didn't want to close out Photoshop just to reopen it once I had something active. That's all. Ultimately, when it came down to it, that's what happened with that. I'm probably going to take a look, see if I can link the plugin to Photoshop and Illustrator and all that, but there's a good chance that I won't be able to, and I will need to upgrade the software. Again, that's low priority. So anyways, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, so I think the next project we're going to be doing is the OpenRC project. What I want to do is a rear differentiation, I think. I don't know. I haven't determined how I want to set up the gears for that, but I do know that I'll probably be using a bunch of, just a bunch of different materials. And the reason why I'm going to be doing that is for different strengths, material strengths. Utilizing what material works best for what. Like, I'll probably use nylon for the gears, use ABS for the strength of the body, and probably PLA for the body shell, because I'll be using the strength of those materials to actually make a better vehicle. PLA will give me the details that I'm looking for and maintain the lightness of the outer shell. The ABS will give me the strength of the structure, provided that my printer will be able to print it well, because it's an open air printer and I don't have any kind of anything covering it, so I might have to jerry rig something there. Then on top of that, the nylon will be the most durable for the gears. As far as wear goes, it'll minimize any kind of real amount of wear. So that's my approach on that. And that'll be my next project after this one. We should have a lot of fun with that. And I would love to hear input from you guys as to what to do and what you want to see me do. I think it'd be fun. Alright, with that said, this is all going to be wrapped up in a minute, so please subscribe to see the next video. The next video should be a lot more interesting, where I actually get into sculpting this. I'll be using ZBrush Core. It's a very basic program, but a great program just the same. Worth the money. Now, with that said, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and hopefully next Friday I'll have a video out for you. Enjoy your weekend.